Evening, a warm welcome to the Red and Blue News and welcome to the Red and Blue Review, wherever you are joining us this evening from all over the world to our live. Yes, I said live. We are coming to you live this Sunday evening at 8 o'clock. We are not pre-recorded like most of the other podcasts out there. We are live. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Unless, of course, you're watching this on Monday or Tuesday when you're picking it up from our podcast. But we are coming to you tonight live from Orpington, from Pettswood, from Coulsdon, and we are joined by a guest. First of all, hello, Jel. Good evening, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right. Yourself?
All right, Vardy and Ian. Nice to see you, mate.
Thank you. Yourselves? Yeah, doing all right.
We're all good. Now, before we carry on, boys, I've decided, Ian, we love your background, okay, with your Red and Blue Review background, okay. Now, behind Gel's head is his kitchen window. We now need to design the same thing for behind his head, okay. Instead of the net curtains, we would like you to design a Red and Blue Review to go behind his head, if that's possible. Is that
Think
possible?
of all that ink.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest joining us this evening. Somebody who I had the pleasure of meeting on the walk and talk last week. And that's exactly what we did do. We walked and we talked. And Lucy's about to bring him in to say hello. And here he comes right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you, those of you who don't know him, to Jason Ady. Jason is prolific on Twitter. And he has come to join the team for his debut performance. No pressure, mate. Welcome aboard. How you doing?
Evening. Thanks a lot, Nick. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Good. It'll be good. Now, Jason and I were having a long conversation during the walk, that and Ian as well. And Jason is full of ideas, unlike Jel, who's full of shit. He's full of ideas. And what he wanted to do, well, actually, I won't explain. Jay, you tell everybody what your plans are going forward over the next few months.
Well, I just thought it'd be good if we could mix it up a little bit and just try a few new things on the show. We talked last week a lot about old memorabilia, hence why you're wearing an old shirt today. So we just talked about that. We could maybe do a show about memorabilia. And then we just talked about maybe doing a few more shows talking about the documentary that was on recently, Team of the 80s. Maybe sharing stories of them sort of days. Also talking about the Coppell years, when Steve Coppell started, taking us right through to, obviously, the cup final, then finishing third. And then just talk about other ideas, other experiences. Maybe fans can share their views on away games, sort of memorable or not so memorable. So, yeah, just sort of going from a different angle, from CPFC point of view, and maybe sharing our own stories. Maybe the younger fans that don't know previously what happened at Palace so much back in the day. Yeah, so...
Because as you quite rightly pointed out, Joe, I'm coming to you right now, mate. As you quite rightly pointed out, this shirt is probably older than, I don't know, 30% of the fan base now, isn't it? What year do you reckon this is? Joe, what reckon you?
Well, I think it's 91, 92.
Ladies and gentlemen, out in Red and Blue Review land, do you agree with him? Is he right? Or have I thrown him under the bus on his first show? Joe, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I was just going to say to Jay, for ages and ages, I've been sort of putting this idea out, and I think really, with what you're saying about come up with old stories and people talking about their past experiences at Palace, and I really had this idea a long time ago to do like
for once I can vouch for that.
Yeah, just walking down the Holmesdale Road. I think that's got to be the feature, and I think if it's something you want to get involved in, Jaden, I know we can definitely get this going. We just get a little bit more, interaction with the people, get some stories in, maybe get some other people on.
Yeah, definitely.
It might be able to do some pre-records and just get it all going. But I think that's definitely a goal.
And I think that's right. I mean, I think we've got an international break coming up again soon. So maybe that weekend we can do a standalone show where Jason can... And I've just broken my pen while I'm sitting here talking to you. So I'm going to be about as used as a chocolate teapot tonight. Look, I broke the end of my pen as we were chatting.
But you've never had lead in your pencil.
Well, excuse me. Your missus says differently. So anyway, Jay, welcome aboard, mate. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So coming up with tonight's show, we're going to carry out a full review of today's game. poor result to high-flying Leicester. I don't think there's any disgrace. Okay, it's tough that we had another defeat, but I don't think there's any disgrace to lose to them. They are a very, very good team with some extremely good players that we will no doubt we'll come on to later. Obviously, welcoming Jay and try and make it as easy as we can throughout the evening, as long as all the Wi-Fi's hold together, and they look pretty stable at the moment. And of course, coming up towards the end of the evening, we'll take questions from you. But before I carry on, guys, I need to do a couple of thank yous. Thank you to Lucy for producing, as always. Also, I want to point that out to everybody. So there's my Poppy Palace badge. And I would like to thank you and also give credit to Tom Clark Samuel. Tom, I know you're watching, mate. Good evening. I hope you're well. Lovely to finally meet you today. Thank you for all your images that you've been supplying the Red and Blue Review during the week, and some of the work that you put in behind the scenes. It's very much appreciated. Lucy and I certainly are grateful. And yeah, as I say, nice to meet you today, guys. Have any of you got the chat up? Ian, have you got the chat on the device somewhere?
Yeah, I have. There's James Garlick's in, Muxter Batar's in, Nicky Allen, Graham Mills. Hi, guys.
Yeah, I can see those as well. And whoever, and the fact that we've got 73 people watching, wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us after what is obviously a difficult day. I also want to mention again, those that you are not aware and attended the walk and talk to the Emirates last weekend. Jel, Ian and I have now both recovered. Jel, thanks for all your input in that, mate. That was one of you to turn up. But we are doing it again. We are. I was expecting something else, Jill. We are doing it again. For those of you who don't know, there is going to be a walk and talk, not a long one like it was to the Emirates. We're actually going to do. Paul's organising yet another one from Homesdale Acrobatics from Victoria to Stamford Bridge next Saturday. Kick-off, Jay, 12:30 kick-off, is it?
Yeah,
12
that's
o'clock
right. Yeah.
So we are, for all Palace fans, that you don't have to be invited, you don't have to request to join. Just turn up at Victoria next Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, okay? And the walk will take place just after that. And it's just a slow, leisurely walk down to Stamford Bridge and chatting away. It's just how Jason and I met, okay? Obviously, we've spoken to each other, communicated via social media before. But come and join us. Anybody wants to... Ian, are you at the Chelsea game?
Sadly not. I will be elsewhere. I'll be up north, unfortunately. So I won't even get a chance to watch it, I don't think.
All right, okay. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we want your input, please, on today's game. I know it's a difficult performance, but we would like your questions in the chat, please. Who was your man of the match? Lucy's going to run a poll. We've come up with a couple of names. We thought Joel Ward had an extremely good, strong game.
James Maddison.
Oh, yeah, those.
You mean one of our players?
One of our players. Yeah.
I was going to say. I was actually going to say their number 4. Lost it.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I might need your help with the goal scorer, by the way, guys. I've tried to get it right throughout the show, before pre-show, and I couldn't even work out how to say his surname. And also, we thought Jordan Ayew had a good first half. But what do you think? It's not about our opinion. We would like your opinion out there, ladies and gentlemen in Facebook land. What do you think? If we had a man of the match, we must have had a man of the match. This week, we can't even try and claim VAR was man of the match like he was at Arsenal. What do you think? So we've gone with Joel Ward and Jordan Ayew to start with, but as I say, it's down to you. What do you think? So I said we're going to carry out a full review on today's game. Well, we're going to touch on it, I think, because I'd like to spend some time talking about the questions and Jason's stuff. Leicester moved back up to third in the Premier League. Second half goals from, here we go, Kalgar Sayonku, is it? Sayonku and Jamie Vardy saw off Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Mid-table Palace came into the match with 7 points from 12, failed to trouble keeper Schmeichel, aside from a Schlupp that was deflected strike that he tipped over the bar by the Dane. This is a worrying stat, 3 of the last 4 Premier League goals conceded by Palace have been from corners. Ladies and gentlemen out there, I want your opinion on that. Before this, only 3 of our previous 36 goals they conceded had been from corners. What has changed? Jel, we're coming to you. I want your thoughts on that next, as soon as I finish this next couple of lines. Palace have lost back-to-back home Premier League games for the first time since March, when they lost to Man United and Brighton. So, onto the lineup. Lucy, can we have the lineup, please? And Jill, has anything major changed, okay, with how we were defending corners. And when you saw the lineup yesterday, you see that we brought in Guaita for Hennessy and obviously Schlupp for the now injured Townsend. Your thoughts on both? Is he gone, Ian? Is Jel gone?
Yeah, it looks like he's just dropped off, hasn't he?
Yeah, John and Jason seems to have dropped off as well. So, go on, Ian,
Okay.
you do the
just
lineup.
me and you then, mate.
Yeah, just me and you.
Okay, well, yeah, lineup. We started with Gator, obviously. Back four of Ward, Tompkins, Cahill and Van Arnold. Solid, dependable back line. Tompkins has been coming in for a bit of criticism, but I don't think he did that badly, to be fair. Midfield of Miljevic, MacArthur, Quixote and Schlupp with Zaha and Ayew. Zaha was floating about a bit, but Ayew was predominantly up front on his own. As far as the game is concerned, I thought we started off okay. You and I were at the Arsenal game, and we started off a lot better than we did at that game. We didn't necessarily show them the respect that we showed Arsenal. And they were on their back foot. In fact, their fans were non-existent until they actually scored. And I thought it was a pretty good performance, pretty good showing. At times we were caught waiting for the ball to come to us, and our anticipation wasn't that great. And they were nipping at our heels and nicking the ball off us.
Absolutely.
But at no point in that first half did I think that we were going to concede, or that actually they were a threat. Before the game, I was expecting to get absolutely tonked, and I was very pleased with what I saw.
Yeah, Gels, were you surprised with anything in the lineup? Guaita and Schlupp coming in for Hennessy and Townsend?
No, not really. I mean, just squad players now, aren't they? It's good that Guaita seems to give the back four a more settled appearance. I mean, they seem so panicky. But yeah, no surprises for me.
Cool. And was there been anything? Would you have done anything different on lineup wise?
Hindsight, everything is within hindsight, isn't it?
I'll tell you why I'm asking you the question, mate. Is because as we go through the show and we go to questions later on, lots of talk about Camarasa, lots of talk about Maya. Is there anything else you would have done differently?
Well, the thing is, Mayo has for some reason has just not seemed to fit. He seems to be the square peg. I really don't know why. I think a couple of times I've seen him mix it up with Wilf in attacking positions, and they complement each other. But I don't know. Maybe Roy's so defensively minded that Maya is more of what probably looks like a luxury player. I really don't know. I mean, we literally don't have a legitimate number 10. We don't have, and it's a really shame because it just negates a 10 would really help our attacking play. Like a proper number 10 can put his foot on the ball and can pass it. Just pass it, just ping the ball about. We literally do not have anybody that does that, and it's a real shame because
we've been saying that for ages, though, haven't we?
We have been saying it for 5 years at least.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and what the sad thing is that by the time we do eventually get one of those players or get a 10, Wilf will probably be gone. Maya will. I can't imagine Maya staying. I mean, he only did a short deal anyway. That will just be a money making exercise. Get a bit of money back for him. I just Benteke will be gone. I just think we'll go back to 2 or 3 of our back players will be, their legs are gone. Dan will be gone. Tom.
It's funny. It's funny you should mention the back players because it's actually something I was going to ask Jason. Jason, I know you wanted to mention attacking players, but can I ask you about the defence? Would you have advocated bringing Kelly back for one of our 2 centre halves? Probably not Cahill, I admit, but for Tompkins.
It's a difficult one. We're not on the training ground, Nick, during the week, but it seems unfair to drop Kelly, doesn't it? Do you not think? He's played really well. I think maybe it's a difficult one to say. Like I say, we're not on the training ground, but I'll be honest with you, Tompkins' distribution was poor today, really poor. And I'll give you an example in the second half. He had the ball, he wasn't being pressurised. Okay, he then played the long ball towards Wilf when Benteke was sort of 20 yards aside of him. Now, that's just madness, isn't it? Not being funny, but Wilf isn't that great with his head, unless he's playing Brighton away. And he's playing the long ball to Wilf when Benteke is going to win 9 out of 10 headers when he's fresh on the pitch. So, distribution-wise, that was poor from Tompkins. And that's just one example that I can remember from the game. But I think it's unfair, to be honest, to drop Kelly. That's my opinion.
Okay, and Ian, Mocktail Butter in the chat, he said we were missing Townsend. Would you actually agree with that? Bear in mind, you saw it last week with me.
Yeah, because it's all about balance, isn't it? MacArthur out wide isn't as effective as MacArthur in the middle. It's square pegs in square holes. I mean, going back to the centre back, I would agree with Jason entirely. Tompkins for me is a better player than Kelly. Kelly is just bog standard pro's pro, and as a result, then you get what you see on the tin. He wouldn't have attempted that 50-yard pass or whatever it was, but Tompkins has got that in his locker. But we all know that with Roy, if his favourites are fit, they come in regardless. And I think that was very much the case for today, which was a shame. It was a shame for Kelly.
Jel, chat please, mate.
Okay, so I've got a few points, and we'll just go from the back to the front. So, as you said, Mukhtar Butter said we're missing Townsend. I think what we're missing the Townsend of last season, where he was all action, and this season he isn't all action. Spoonbill, I love this name, Spoonbill McHumpty. He said he'd like to see us play two up top, at home, especially at home. As much as Benteke isn't great, he won a lot of headers when he came on today. You would think now that Ayew is a regular feature, and that if we're going to play, we might as well play. So we have nothing to lose by playing 4-4-2, 3-5-2. I mean, we've just got nothing. We've got nothing to lose there. Nicky Allen said, Kelly, no brainer. So he's agreeing with us. But I just need to go to the goal. So Andrew Adams said Leicester had too much freedom to march in for the first one. Well, the first one was a flick which undone everybody, and also there were two players. There was Pavier and Schlupp both standing there, both literally rooted to the spot, but the second one, he said Vardy was allowed too much space for the goal. Damari Gray, with an absolute outstanding dummy and run, seen with the 1-2, is going to undo any defence. Not just us, any defence. If you can't give Leicester credit for that goal, you'll never be able to. You need to open your eyes and have a bit of grace about yourself, because that was a fantastic goal. And it epitomises the freedom that they're playing with, and that's exactly why they're third and look like, to be honest with you, like a Champions League side, like Champions League top four side for the Premier League this year. I think they've replaced really well, but just so to turn around and say that the second goal was, they undone us. As simple as that. We have to have a little bit about ourselves and say that was a good goal.
But we were also chasing the game at that point.
We're always chasing the game. We're at home. We let everyone attack us. We chase the game every single game, and then when it goes tits up, we have to chase it harder.
It's a fundamental problem with the way Hodgson plays, and we've said it on here a number of times, is that playing in such a defensive way, as soon as you go behind, it's very hard for that unit that's been drilled in defensive plays, defensive positioning, to actually then become an attacking force. Even more so when we don't have any out-and-out strikers anyway.
But what you've got, Ian, with Leicester is you've got three players, 22, 22 and 21 in their midfield, creative. I can tell you now, that Maddison, 100% be a top 14. Leicester could be a top 14. I can see Man United paying 100 million quid for him if he carries on when he's absolutely unbelievable. And Damari Gray, if he can lose his crap attitude, again, he's a fantastic player. He always seems to play well against us. But Damari
Gray is someone I'd like to see us We bid for him when he went to Leicester anyway, because he went to Leicester from Birmingham because it was closer.
Yeah, we did.
But I would love to see, if he doesn't get a lot of first team football, he may be a Wilf replacement for me. But what I would say is, Maddison, this is what I was going to go on to say, is did you see the Parish's quote earlier in the week saying he had this email come across his desk 2 years ago about this young kid in Norwich, we should get him for 2 million. And he just passed it and now he regrets it. And you just think,
oh yeah, but then we had a chance. All we had to do was outbid Southampton to buy, what's his face from Celtic?
Van Dijk.
Yes.
Yeah.
10 million quid. All we had to do was bid 15 million quid. He would have been a Palace player.
But the scouting report said he was too slow.
Oh,
Warnock says that. Warnock says that. You know, and you just think, what is going on?
We are digressing. I'm just going to point out something in the chat in case you hadn't seen it. Paul Glance is saying Hamilton is on course to win. Watching that is better than this bollocks. Okay, stop.
I love him. I really do.
What you could do is I can put it on behind me if you want.
All right, listen. There is just one more thing. So Mukhtar again turned around and said, "I said we're literally missing a number 10, and we have been for ages." And he said RLC was our number 10. Now let me tell you about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He was everything that we wanted from Jason Puncheon. All right, that's what he was. He was not even an upgrade. He was what people imagined that when Jason Puncheon used to put a Palace shirt on, they imagined him. That's how we wanted Puncheon. So seriously, if he played like that, we wouldn't have needed RLC.
And a good imagination.
But because he cut, you put him on the right hand side, he cut in into the middle and had shots. He put him on the left hand side, and he ran at players. That's what he was. He was just a dynamic midfield player. But but RLC did not, produce number 10 match-winning balls. He just was. He was just in your face. So I just wanted to answer Mukhtar's point about RLC. And the other thing as well is that we, in all honesty, we need to buy a player and not just keep loaning players.
I agree with that.
I just think that if we'd have actually bought Batshuayi from Chelsea, I think this season would be different. I think Wilf would be different. I think everything would be different. But because we literally don't have in Ayew we have a trier, but in Batshuayi we have he's just a deadly finisher. And I always think he'd be better in a Palace shirt than he will be in a Chelsea shirt.
Well, unfortunately, that's actually proven not to be the case at the moment because he's really making his appearances for Chelsea. He's doing very well with them at the moment. Jay, Jel in his normal and invincible way raced on to the goals in the second half. Was there anything else that we missed in the first half?
Yeah, did we lose the toss? Because attacking Holmesdale isn't always attacking Holmesdale.
You raised a great. Yeah, good point, man. Go on.
Did we lose the toss? I don't remember seeing it. I'll be honest, I didn't remember seeing it, but I'll take it we lost the toss, did we? Because I would have thought away teams would think, well, let's get them attacking the Holmesdale first half because it upsets their rhythm. Do you know what I mean? Because we always attack the Whitehorse first half and then Holmesdale second half. But did we lose a toss? I think we must have done.
Excellent point.
So that's something. For me, in terms of the first half, they were getting behind certainly PVA. They were targeting PVA, I think, first half, and they were getting behind him a few times. So I think that was a bit of they were definitely targeting him. But for me, it was quite a good first half. I thought it was a good game. I thought it was quite end to end. It was quite an open game. We weren't out of the game. We was in it. But coming back to what Jel said, we weren't hurting teams. We weren't making that final ball wasn't good enough, or our final decision making in terms of do we shoot or do we lay the ball off? It wasn't good enough. And it comes back to what I was thinking as well, and I agree with Jel. Do we go 3-5-2 and play 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs, and then we play number 10 behind 2 strikers? Imagine in an ideal world we had Batshuayi and say Ayew up front and then Wilf behind, or you could then play someone else behind like Maya. I don't think we're playing to some of these players' strengths at the moment. I think what's the harm in not trying something a bit different? Because teams know how we're going to set out. We're going to set out very narrow, etc., etc. Do we not change it? I guess Roy isn't going to change it, is he? He doesn't make subs till late as it is.
But Roy doesn't change very much, does he? Although that said, he did make 3 subs today, of course.
He did make 3 subs, but was it too late? Probably he was. And the thing is, did them 3 subs change the game? No, I didn't.
We went 2-0 down.
Exactly. Did the Leicester subs change the game? Well, yeah, Demarai Gray changed it.
You could actually argue in his defence that he made 3 subs too early because Cahill getting injured as he did, he shouldn't have even been on the pitch, and we had Kelly sitting on the bench, quite happy to come on.
Did we not have 3 players injured? Did I read somewhere that we had 3 players injured?
You've come on to a point. You come on to a point. No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do it now because I'm concerned about the Chelsea game because MacArthur got injured, Cahill got injured today, and somebody else got a knock. Guys in Red and Blue News chat land, tell me who else somebody else took a knock.
Was it Chiarte?
Chiarte, of course he was. No, he was down for a long time. Of course he was.
Cahill headed the back of his head.
And that's what he was.
Yeah.
And that's what
blood.
caused it. The other thing I was remiss of me to mention at the start of the game, of course, was the Remembrance Sunday by the Armed Services. Brilliantly observed, okay? The trouble is, there's nobody in the concourses shutting them up out there.
It's bad.
It was immaculately observed outside the stadium. Crystal Palace fans, brilliant. I could hear the concourse of the Arthur, bearing in mind I'm in the Homesdale, I could hear the concourse of the Arthur, and I could also hear the concourse of the Homesdale. There's people just chatting away. They don't realise what's happening outside because they're not in their seats yet. So the only way they're going to well, maybe not. Maybe idiots coming out from the pubs late and all the rest of it. I don't know, Ian. You say tourists, but it may well be. But the point being is that is then coming through to the pitch. People in the stands were shouting at people in the concourses to shut up during the last post. And sadly, it came over. Yes, Jill.
Threw me under the bus, Ian. Sorry.
No, I was sorry. Put your hand up. I'm sorry, mate.
No, I wasn't at all. I'm just reading through
It was just an involuntary spasm.
There was so Ian is Ian Lyons evening, and he said, "What were the crowd singing to Kasper Schmeichel?" And
I can tell
they
you,
were doing, they were basically abusing him. And then abusing his dad. So what you got, they're abusing probably the first or second best goalkeeper in the Premier League. And then they were abusing his dad, which is probably the best goalkeeper the Premier League's ever seen.
Yeah, he played for Man United, didn't he?
Which is a little bit...
Kasper Schmeichel's nowhere near the best goalkeeper in the league.
I said in the top 2.
You said second, he's nowhere near it.
Yeah, of course.
But we'll agree to disagree. His father, I grant you, not Kasper Schmeichel. He couldn't even catch the red and blue bits of paper thrown at him.
Joshua Bayer turned around and said...
He was getting really upset about that, wasn't he? He was getting really wound up by that
paper.
Kick
the ball out of the ground.
Yeah, literally.
Well, Matt Miller is a comedian anyway.
No, that's Max Miller.
Max, nearly. He said Kuarte is my favourite player at present, which is nice.
Too well.
Jordan O'Day said Jorginho suspended for the game next weekend because of his yellow cards.
Yeah, that's correct. Well done, Jordan. You're right.
Yeah,
I'll just bring Kante in though.
Yeah, exactly. I know, shocker.
No problem.
But yeah, I mean. Again, Joshua he basically is saying we need Townsend starting on the left and Wilf starting on the right. That's what we need. And then again, Matt Miller said Homesdale threw stuff at Schmeichel. Outrageous. I mean, it's a hint of...
and guys, whoever was responsible for throwing the paper at him, I thought it was funny because they gave him that. Okay, about his dad, and they also what else? No, you have put your hand up in the air.
Just really quickly, Ian Golden, I don't know what point you were making, Ian, but if you said Alan Kirbishley knew how to make Charlton stay, just remember their demise. You need to elaborate on that because I don't know who you're talking.
He's probably about Hodgson, I suppose.
Yeah, he's talking about Roy Hodgson and Roy Hodgson.
Well, we haven't claimed Hodgson tonight, have we?
No, but yeah, we were talking about his substitutions, so that's probably what he was alluding to. Ian, I hope I got that right. I did want to touch on something, 52nd minute, Lucy. I did want to touch on something that happened also in the second half. The Palace faithful gave a much-deserved minute's applause to Ady, who sadly passed away unexpectedly, aged 52. Now, I don't know, boys, I don't know if either of you know anything about Ady, but he's, I know he is very, very close to a lot of the players. He was their security, basically. And that's I know that they're the first person they see when they enter the car park. The players see when they enter the car park. And he also used to escort them back to their cars after the games and that sort of stuff when all the crowds had gone home. So he was loved. The first I heard about it was I think it was Instagram post Wilf put out. Okay, and then from that, every single different Facebook group, Palace Facebook group out there, Twitter account, all jumped on the fact that they're doing the minutes applause, and it was immaculate. And in fact, credit to Leicester City fans.
Yeah, agree.
They didn't know what it was about to start with.
No, but
the first 20 minutes. First 20 minutes, they had no idea. First 20 seconds, they had no idea what it was. Then it came up on the big screen, as Lucy's just showed us a minute ago, and the Leicester City fans, like that, the Leicester City fans saw that, and they started applauding him as well. So, God rest your soul. I'm not even going to attempt to do your surname, but God rest your soul, young man. I hope things are good for you wherever you go next on your travels. And well done to every Palace fan out there. So, superb and big respects. Right, so what else will we missing in the second half? Good Tompkins clearance. So we've said that Tompkins did have a very good,
great last-ditch tackle. Oh.
Yeah, great last-ditch tackle. Over to you, Ian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's screaming for it, and then he just one of these ones as a centre back is you just love nice greasy service, get in and just hook the foot around it and clean the player out in the process. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Joshua Baha in the chat said, "What was the score? I was out." Okay, we'll move on from that. Okay,
we won 4-0, Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua, we won 4-0. Yeah, absolutely right. Oh, it's just so easy. It's too simple.
Can I just say, just again in the chat. So, and again, Matt Millows is getting quite involved tonight. He said, "Bloody annoyed at Leicester singing our own songs at us." What they say about imitation is the merest form of flattery.
Yeah, look at what all the other podcasts try to do. They try to copy what we do, so it's exactly the same as that. Ian, you wanted to say something?
Right. Okay. My nephew, or Alison's nephew, who's a Leicester fan. All her family are Leicester fans. He has just sent me a message because I said, "Well done. Thought your number 4 was man of the match today. Won everything." And he said, "Cheers. What a second goal that was. Think you will do really well this year if you manage to replace the donkeys up top."
Yeah.
Fair enough, isn't it?
Jason, your views, please, on the second goal. And move your camera down a bit, mate, please.
So is that better?
Not too far.
Okay.
Sadly, we can see the whole face now, so yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Can I not comment on the first goal?
Go on then, mate.
Well, first of all, we let in 2 goals last week to corners, and the third goal, which was disallowed, that was a corner as well. So what happened in the week in terms of training? Because before they scored the first goal, they had a clear header, a free header, which was well saved by Guaita, and then they score from a corner straight after that. So what's going on with our defending the corners? Because it's shocking, isn't it? Let's be honest. When you've got the stats, haven't you, Nick, from how many corners we've conceded from, but it doesn't seem to me like anything's being rectified in terms of us defending corners.
So you're saying no training done in the week, is what you're saying?
Well, I'm not saying there's no training done, but what are they doing? Because they're not winning the first ball, and then when we are winning the first ball, we're flicking it on for them to score 2 free headers from corners.
Sorry, Jason. What I would say with that is that we've got no one in our squad that can deliver corners to practice against, like Maddison or Pepe last week. I mean, Nick and I are both saying to each other, if only we had someone that could deliver a ball like that.
Agree.
And to be fair, PVA's first corner, the first corner we got today, he put in a great corner in because he shaped it and it was fast. All Lucas seems to do is just hang balls in the air, and it's
too long, slow.
Yeah.
Macca, can he not take corners? I thought he's took a few. They looks all right. Last time I see him take a corner.
I'm sure he could. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to allude to something in the chat, guys. I met a few people coming up to me today and saying they enjoyed the show and thanking me for what we do and everything else. Okay, I also saw a guy called Brett out in the concourse at half time with Tyler and a couple of others. He introduced me to a couple of other people who are now probably watching the show this evening because they're now members of the group. Unfortunately, Brett introduced our show, or what we do, is Red and Blue Sky News. That's what he called us. So he was close, bless his heart. Okay, Red and Blue Sky News. We are Red and Blue News. We are the Red and Blue Review on Red and Blue News. So thank you very much for everybody who came up and said hello today. Thank you for your lovely comments. We will carry on what we're doing. In fact, Jason is the living, breathing proof of that. We are a team that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Move your camera down again, mate. Jel, go for it.
Tristan White in the chat said it would have been perfect chance for Camarasa today after Jimmy Mack got injured. So who's right. Camarasa?
Jel, I'm going to go to that, okay, if you don't mind. Tristan, I'm going to ask you a question. And your point's well made, but based on what? There is obviously... there's something going on behind the scenes. He was fine. He didn't turn up for one training session that I'm aware of, and Judy got fined for it. Okay. He's one thing about Roy Hodgson is if you're good enough, he'll put you in the team. Roy Hodgson has also got a history of picking out good talent. Okay. Let's face it, he ran with Aaron Wan-Bissaka for months and months and months. Okay. When he first broke through to the team, he's obviously not seeing what he wants to see from Camarasa in training.
I agree.
And all three of you, open to all three of you, counter what I've just said.
Agree.
Well, I saw him play against Colchester. And I've said this the last 2 or 3 podcasts. And okay, it was against Colchester. But what he does is he actually moves the ball forward. He plays it forward. His first instance is look forward. With Luca, it's side, backwards, side, 50-yard ball. Yeah. You know, Luca needs competition. Otherwise, we've just got someone treading water in there, knowing full well that this little bit of cloth on his bicep means it is guaranteed a game every week. We do not. Let me go back to Leicester. They've got competition everywhere. They've got Albrighton on the bench. They've got Damari Gray on the bench. They've got a number of other players that would probably get in our first team on the bench, you know, and that's where we need to be. They've fought really, really well. And when we get someone like Camarasa, who Bournemouth players, you know, and Bournemouth players are saying, it's got back to us, isn't it? That they were saying that's a really good signing. That's a really good signing. And yet we've apparently got this ridiculous 15-game rule. You know, or this 15-game quota that if he plays 15 games, we end up having to pay for him. I just think we're just hamstringing ourselves. Our recruitment and scouting policy needs serious looking at.
Jill?
I had just in between what phone reception I had. I was listening to 5 Live today. And what they said was it was a really good interview with the manager, and he turned around and said, "Look, we can't afford what they call Pool A players, as in massively expensive players to buy. So they look at Pool 2 players. So they're obviously looking at the best players in the Championship and from other leagues. So that's where Leicester are. Their scouting policy is they're not going out and paying massive money for every single player." I'll tell you what they're doing. It reminds me of, and it might just be, I don't know if it's just a Midlands thing, but you know, everyone, like, you know, that have taken any notice of Wolves in the last 3 years know that they've had this super agent, George Mendes, whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's right.
This super agent. And what they've been doing, they've been going around picking up the best teenage talent from around Europe for 5 years. And now you know, apparently, I've got a couple of mates that are Wolves fans, and they say that they literally in the next 2 to 5 years, they're expecting to have a team that will challenge for the Premier League. That's what Wolves actually believe. The infrastructure is they've got the stadium, they've got the academy, and they've got the young players, and it's up to the young players to step up, and they've got enough talent, that really decent talent, that, you know, to come through. So that's the thing. I think that's the difference now between having top people. You can imagine that he's been at Celtic and he's done he's set them up for the treble. He was at Liverpool. He's been around Brendan Rodgers, and he's been around the big, you know, the bigger sides in whatever league he's worked his way up to, and I think he realises he knows the coup, and because we're only in this league 6 and a bit years, I think we're just so naive,
Wet behind the ears, yeah.
Yeah, we are. We're just naive and getting
Somebody said it earlier on. We're not improving from mistakes. And the corners are the classic example.
Well, I mean, we're just getting undone. We know for a fact. It's not even. You just know. First of all, as soon as you attack Palace, you attack them down the right hand side.
Yeah, that was the first thing they did. They crossfield ball, as Jason said. Crossfield ball straight on PVA.
But look at Wolves. I was sat there with you, Nick, and I said to you, watch what they do to PVA. They put 2 players on him every single minute of the game, and then they did the same against. I'm sure it was against Ward on the other side. They doubled up. They see it as a weak link for us.
Well, we're going to move it on, boys. We're going to wrap up the game in a minute. Jay, just talk us through the second goal, because in fairness to him, it was a great goal. Yeah,
it was a great goal. But let's be honest, probably the biggest mistake we made as a fan base was then start targeting Vardy in the second half and calling his wife a grass. Now, when you start doing that, you start giving it to, especially strikers, especially at our ground, they're going to come back and bite us. And that's exactly what happened. Because I'm going to be honest here, when Leicester scored and went 1-0 up, I think Leicester took their foot off the ball a little bit, but it was almost like, come and have a go now. And they weren't really hurting us, really. And then one bit of magic, great ball, a great dummy, Vardy's through, he scores, and then what happens, he's flapping like an eagle in front of the Amsdale, and we all knew it was going to happen. As soon as we were targeting him and his wife, you knew he was going to score. But this is a sign of a good team, isn't it? They have one chance, bang, on target. On target. Can I just add that? One target. How many decent shots did we have on target today? There wasn't many. I think we had 1 in the first half. That's not good enough, is it, when you're at home? I don't know how many
it was
in the second
just
half,
one.
but and how many in the second half? Not many great shots on target. The final ball isn't good enough. Our final ball isn't good enough, and we're not hitting enough shots on target or looking like we're going to score. But it was a great move, great goal, and then he's flapping like an eagle. It happened, didn't it?
Just quickly, it's a point well made, Jay, about fans, but we don't learn about giving it. Do you remember? It'd only be the older fans, but giving it to Kevin Phillips. You'll never play for England. You'll never play for England. He scored a hat-trick against us and then run past the Homesdale giving it all that. I was sitting next to my mate, the Sunderland fan, Steve, and he was itching. I said, get up, stand up, clap you. He scored a hat-trick. Do you know what I mean? But it does. It does. It spurs them on. Sorry, mate, go on.
Well, no, I completely agree. I mean, it wasn't only Vardy. Chilwell come over and started cupping his ears and started giving it to everyone as well. I mean, but listen, let's not make any bones about this. I think we're all in agreement. Leicester are going to be challenging for certainly top 4, maybe top 3 this season. And good luck to them. They are a team that are going places. So as soon as they went 1-0 up, we had to push for it. And that second goal probably came about, as much as the brilliance of the goal, it probably came about because we were pushing for it as well. So we were exposed. But this comes back to what we were saying about a defensive team playing defence, and then not being able to push forward. But, listen, for 60 minutes, we were competing with them and we were solid. And then you just switch off for that 1 second, or you flick it on for their number 4 to bury it in the back of the net. And then that's it. As soon as you're a goal down, once we were a goal down, there was no way we would come back into it. They just, you could see from their championship winning or from being the champions, that they've got the experience now of shutting teams down, of closing teams off. And that is something you only get through experience. And they've got that now. We haven't got that.
Just quickly, and he turned around and said at the end of the game, Rodgers, and he said once we nullified their threat, then it was always going to make it easier. So once they nullified Wilf, that was it, and that's what he said.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's no disgrace to lose to a good team like Leicester City. Sadly, I'm going to be saying that probably over the next couple of weeks. No disgrace to lose to Man City. No disgrace to lose to Leicester City. No disgrace to lose to Chelsea. And no disgrace to lose to Liverpool when we play them as well. So don't get hung up about it. We're still ninth. We've still got 15 points, level points with the Weed. Okay. Lots to be positive about, I'm sure. Moving on to some stuff in the chat, if you don't mind, in a second, Jel. But before you do, a point came up in I was going to say lots of questions, but there weren't questions. Lots of statements coming through today. And I'm going to do one to start with to all three of you, really. Ian Mace, good evening, Ian. Thank you for tuning in, mate. Thank you for watching us. The main difference between the two sides was the three midfielders. They have three who look so good on the ball. Ours give it away more often than not. And crosses into the box are so poor. Joel Ward had a good game today. Would you disagree with any of that, Ian? Jason?
No.
No, I agree with that 100%. And another thing I'd like to say is how many times do we give the ball away? How many times do we pass the ball to the other team?
All the time.
And that's something
we turn it over.
That's something Leicester didn't do. And I just think Leicester are that bit quicker than us, aren't they? They're a little bit quicker than us. Yeah, our midfield, I don't think our midfield three are bad, but we're just not quick enough. But we give the ball away so much. It's so frustrating. So frustrating.
Part of that is that a lot of that is down to our lack of movement as well. Again, we're looking to play 20-yard balls all the time, where the teams like Leicester, teams like Liverpool, teams like Man City, Arsenal even, when they're playing well, it's 5-yard pass, 5-yard run to receive the ball. 5-yard pass, 5-yard run. We do a 5-yard pass and then we don't make the run. So how many times a day were someone like Chiarte or MacArthur with the ball on the right-hand wing and everyone's 30 yards over in the box?
No one's a pass to.
Nobody in front of him.
Exactly.
Said that for 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
What we
so
do
that
when we
is
get the
why.
ball, exactly.
That is why we turn it over, because we don't then have the quality to hit the 30-yard ball into someone's box.
Also, could I just add something else as well? When we get a throw in, why does no one move for the ball? They're all just standing there, static.
Yeah, but that is
they just stand there, especially Will.
That is it.
Just stands there. Doesn't make any runs off the ball. When we get a throw in, that's schoolboy stuff, isn't it? I learned that when I was about 8 or 9.
When
Basic
one of our
stuff.
players
You
is
can't be
holding the
offside from a
ball,
flank, can you? So
when
why
one
not
of our
run
players
down the flank? Make
when one of
movement,
our players-
make space. We don't do that. I watched the second half.
Don't talk
1-0
over each other,
down.
lads. One at a time. Go on, plenty of time. Jel, what were you about to say?
No, I'm just saying what Jay's saying is what we've been saying for ages. Is that when one of our players has got the ball, the other players aren't actually making space to give them an option to pass to. They're having to play miracle balls or just hoof it up front. And then, of course, what happens? Hoof it up front. Their centre backs get the ball and they just recycle. That's what happens. It's just, and that's the frustrating thing. We can all see it. Jay can see it. Nick, you can see it. You can see it, but everyone seems to be able to see it, except for the players. I don't understand it. And then you look at City lose the ball. What happens? 2 of their players come after one of ours. And then
Sterling makes a cracking tackle.
He gets panicked into passing the ball back to the goalkeeper. And then David Silva will make a 40-yard run, try and shut the goalkeeper down. And then while he's doing that, someone else will come along and they'll shut down Joel Ward or they'll shut down our left, PVA. So you stop the options. You watch them. When City and Liverpool, when they shut the ball down, they shut down with 6 players. And if you
they
look,
do it as a team.
Just really quickly, sorry, Nick, the classic example of that, right, is last year at Anfield when one ball, when they all rushed us and we scored that wonder goal, which we never got any credit for, right, was that one ball from Macca, left foot, out to PVA. It took 7 Liverpool players out of the game, that one ball, when we was being hurried and hustled. All their players came forward, and then we were able to put the ball out left. PVA then played it down to Wilf. Wilf skinned Milner and crossed it for the brilliant goal. But what I'm saying is, good that these good sides now, they see recycling, chasing the ball as much as a play as when they've got the ball and giving options to their teammates. And that's what we don't do. I mean, and again, Jay, for me, for people that are earning squillions of quid, and it is squillions of pounds that they're earning now, you have to be average Joe, right, to be earning £1 million a year, and that's 20 grand a week. £1 million a year. Pay this money we can only dream of as normal people, as fans, right? And these people, these players, I don't see how it's just schoolboy stuff for me. How you can't.
Right. Sorry, Jill.
You make a play. I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand it.
Right, a couple of other things I want to cover off. I'm going to set a question to you both, all three of you, in a minute. Okay, and it's going to be the most contentious question I've spoken about all season. Okay, I'm going to do that in a minute. But before we do, Greg Ellis is asking in the chat. Okay, do we know what kind of work the management do in prepping for each game? Is there a strategy that's worked out or studied? Now, my understanding is, and I'll go first. Okay, my understanding is. Roy is quite meticulous in his preparation for each game and prepares differently for each game depending on the quality of the opposition. Ian, you're shaking your head. Go.
Well, I don't think he certainly prepares for the opposition, but he prepares for the opposition's strengths. He doesn't prepare differently insofar as going back to what Jason was suggesting. 3 at the back or whatever. Jel and I have spoken about it numerous times. These next 2 games are a shot to nothing. Chelsea, don't get me wrong, Chelsea can kill a team in 10 minutes, but they've got vulnerabilities that Leicester don't have, vulnerabilities that Liverpool do not have. So let's see if he does actually change it, and let's see if he does actually try something different, because we are way too predictable under Hodgson. Don't get me wrong, listen, it's going to keep us up this season, but nevertheless, we want to see some. If you've got a shot to nothing, what have you got to lose? If he really wants to see what his squad can do, change it up. Be unpredictable. Let's have a go. But other than that, all you see during the week from Hodgson is drill, drill, drill. You're going to be in this position. You're going to be in this position. When the ball's over here, you need to be here. You need to be here. You need to be here. Not when the ball's in the penalty area. I expect to see 4 of you in that penalty area. It's when the ball's in their penalty area. I want to make sure you're covering the break, you're covering the break, and you're covering the break. So he does prepare, but it's all negative.
Right. Okay.
Sorry,
Jay, anything? No, not at all. A lot of that I agree with. Jay, manager on his preparation.
Well, you just want him to. You'd like him to start practicing taking corners, taking free kicks, putting a decent ball in the box for starters, defending corners. Yeah. And what else is there? One thing he guaranteed is that the club will put out videos in a week of us scoring wonderful goals in training. I'm fed up with it. Absolutely fed up with it. Seeing us
Lucas saving his own penalty.
Lucas saving his own penalty, but puts it in the same place when he scored last week. But it's just them videos. They drive me mad. It just infuriates me. Just practice taking corners, practice defending corners, and practice taking decent free kicks.
Jay, I wouldn't mind, but they're boring anyway. Watching a football player try and do what he's paid to do. It's like me going around Jel's bloody place with my mobile phone and watching the bloke try and hang a tile straight. It ain't never going to happen. Okay,
happening around my house. Can I just say?
It won't.
I know none of us have access to, and there'll be just a few people out there that probably go down to the training grounds. But the really good standout players that are really good at dead ball situations, you always hear about them at the end of their career, or people come out and genuinely go, "Oh yeah, everyone went home at 2:00, but Beckham was still out there at 7 p.m. hurling balls over that mate, what's name wall, and he asked for someone to bring 30 footballs out, and then he got a couple of the kids to bring all the balls back and just." Do any of our players? Does anybody go and get 20 balls and practice corners? Does anybody practice free kicks outside of training hours? Does anybody stay behind? I honestly don't know. I'd love to hear that, but because I don't think that can happen, because we are so piss poor at dead ball situations that it just can't be. It can't be one of those where the geezer stays behind twice a week, practicing for 6 hours. Honestly, I just don't.
Andrew Adams has asked in the chat, is Parish right or wrong for calling out Sainsbury's re the hold up on the building?
God, so
Well, it's not. It's old news. It's not new. It's not new news. This has been going on since the start of the negotiations. Listen, stop trying to be a Levy clone and trying to penny pinch everywhere. Pay them what they bloody want. Pay teams what they want within a reasonable amount for decent players, and let's just bloody get on with it, shall we? You know, there's too much of this penny. Oh, I'm not happy with this deal. I'm not happy with this deal. I'm going to sign someone, but 15 games, otherwise I might have to sign him. You know, but he's good enough. But 15 games, I'm just getting fed up to the back teeth of all of this amateurish. That's harsh, not amateurish, but
It ain't far off, mate. You're not a million miles off, mate.
I mean, when it comes to all these, when these new announcements come on about the academy, about the stand, you know, everyone's just going, oh God, oh yeah, nice graphics, nice CGI, yeah, it will never happen because no one's ever, you know, it's all talk. There's no substance behind this, or only bring it out when you know it's about to go, when you know it's running. Anyway, if I may just change it slightly. So I've seen Teresa. Hello, Teresa. Well done for last week as well, by the way. It definitely helps us out there. She's put up a couple of times. Was Wilf deliberately boycotted today by our players? Now, did any of you guys see that he wasn't getting the ball off our players a lot?
There was that one chance where PVA was through on goal and he had a shot from 25 yards when the ball onto Wilf.
He went absolutely mad.
The ball looked on for Wilf. Wilf looked in a good position. There was that one chance, but I don't know whether it was me, but Wilf looked like he was sulking again today. Whether that was because he wasn't getting enough of the ball.
Jay, again, on that subject, I read this out to Jel before we came on here earlier. A guy called Paul Solon. Paul, good evening, mate. Thank you for your comments. He's given me a paragraph thought process of what he thought today, okay? And Jel scoffed at a couple of them when I spoke to him before we went on air. Tompkins, useless today. One decent tackle on Vardy. PVA at fault for goal again and countless other mistakes. Kouate is wooden, offers very little. Contentious point. Zaha seems to have forgotten how to beat a player and he's counting down the days until the January transfer window. Max Meyer offers nothing. My patience with him has run out. All in all, not a great performance, but to be fair, Leicester were good and made it hard for us. And there were spells in the game where we had the upper hand and needed to take some advantage, but just don't have the creativity and firepower to do so. Same old, same old. Anybody want to pick up anything in there? No, silence is golden.
Yeah. I'll go with everything there.
Go on, Joe.
Well, what I would say is, Maya, how can you lose patience with someone that's never given a chance?
Exactly.
You know,
right, Jason.
there's no.
Sorry, Ian, carry on.
No, it's cool. It's fine.
Right, Jason, I understand you've got some pictures of stuff that some old gear. I think we've ripped the team enough to shreds there. I understand you've got some bits and pieces you want to that are currently in your collection. Give people an idea of what to expect over the next few games.
Yeah. So like we were talking last week about memorabilia. I just thought I'd like to share some of my memorabilia with you guys. And maybe we can do a future show on people's memorabilia that they've either bought or purchased or they've got free. I know some people, when the Homesdale terracing went, they took some terracing home with them, and some people got goalposts in their gardens and et cetera, et cetera. But I just wanted to show you,
even old seats from the Arthur Way.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, some people have done some lovely stuff where they've repainted them and put them in their shed and stuff. First of all, my granddad took me to my first game when I was 5. Back in 1980. Unfortunately, just after that, he was diagnosed with cancer and he died. But he left me in his will all his Palace memorabilia, all his programmes. So I think Lucy is a picture of programmes. So I did take a picture and put some pictures up of my programmes. He left me loads from the 70s, which I still enjoy looking through today. He also left me a really nice mirror as well, which you really can't see much of yourself in the mirror. But it's a nice old-fashioned mirror.
Now, that mirror there brings back memories 70s. To me. I had that mirror back in the 70s, and like an idiot, okay, I want to refer back to the programme in a second, but that mirror, like an idiot, I gave it away to another Palace group, okay, another Palace Facebook group. And I wish I had not. That's one of my regrets as a Palace fan, giving that away. Just going back to the programmes, there is also, for those people, again, that's the whole point of you doing this little slot here, Jason. People don't realise that there is a Palace Facebook group that basically covers up old Palace programmes. I don't know, is it Palace programmes through the years or something? It's called. I'm not familiar with it, or you've seen it. But
on Facebook, yeah.
On Facebook, yeah. And the guys on there do some good stuff. Joe, have you seen that mirror before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, we were talking about it beforehand, but yeah, I've seen that a few times. I'm sure the Palace pubs have got those.
Yeah,
but
there's a few.
So, is there some more photos of your stuff, Jay? Because
I was talking to Nick. Obviously, Nick's sporting a lovely shirt. I believe it's from 91, 92. So I've got loads of old shirts and tracksuit tops. Ian was wearing the old Bumblebee FA Cup final shirt last week, so we got talking about that.
That's
so
right.
yeah, I've got a collection of old shirts on there. Just I love old memorabilia, especially from the 80s, early 90s.
Joe, everything you own's old, okay? So
talking about the 1990 Bumblebee shirt.
Yeah.
So when my mum passed away a few years ago, went down to see my dad, and quite literally, my mum never had a single inkling about football. And then all of a sudden, my old man gives me like this little tiny folder, and he says, "You might as well have this. I don't know why your mother had it, but you're the only one that likes football." And believe it or not, this is what was in it.
Oh, brilliant! Old rosette.
And that is, I literally, it's faded now. This is obviously
it has.
But that's because it sits in my van all day.
Top man.
In the it just sits in my van on the windscreen to the side where the quarter light is. So yeah, that's a little memory from my mum who literally never had any. I never even heard her talk about football. She never even asked me when I played football for years and years. Never asked me how I got on. Never talked about football at all. And then when she passes away, and all she ever did was knit. She had thousands of balls of wool, and then my old man gives me that and said, "Your mum had that. I don't know why, but you might as well have it." And I was like, "I can't believe that." So that's my bit of memorabilia, and that ties into your Bumblebee shirt.
Yeah, nice.
From that game.
Thank you, Jill. Brett Kemp said in the chat, "Hi Nick et al. I love Nick's old school Palace shirt. When we met today, in terms of the game, we were second best. I think we just need to accept it. Let's bash the Blues next week." And he's right. You got anything else there, Jay?
I've got a few canvas pictures as well. I don't know if Lucy can show them. There's one of Andy Johnson, and I've got one of the team from a few years ago, which is nice. I bought off a couple of guys off Twitter. So yeah, I think it'd be good if we could do a show where people could share their memorabilia. It hasn't got to be necessarily stuff you've bought. It could be stuff that you've got from the club or been passed down to you.
Absolutely.
Yesteryear. I think it's nice sharing this stuff.
The ideal thing with that is they could just send us the picture. Okay,
yeah,
send one of us the picture. And we'll bring it up on the show, especially when we
give them a credit on the show.
And we'll give them a credit on the show. And if you want to come on and talk about it, we'll send you out the link, and you can come on and tell us about your product, Jason.
Yeah,
I think,
definitely.
Like I was enthusiastic about your ideas last week, okay, and even more so now. So
cheers.
I think it's great. So welcome to the team, mate. Okay,
thank you.
We'll do this every so often and bring you back in, a bit like we did with Greg and Teresa and all the rest of the guys, Sean and Ben. Yeah, the whole point of this is we are one Palace family. We've got the common theme, okay? We all hate Gel Holyoke and we all love Crystal Palace. And that's...
We all hate Palace on a Saturday.
Oh, we all hate Palace. 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, yeah. Listen, I think what we'll do is we're going to turn it in there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't hear me say it earlier, come and join us on the walk for the Chelsea game. 9 o'clock, Victoria Station. Come and see us. Gel's got to go and watch Strictly Come Dancing and whatever else he's got to watch. I'm sure Jason's got more important things. Ian, in the background, I know you're still there. Thank you for joining us. ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of everybody of our ever-growing Red and Blue review scene, thank you for joining us. Have a safe week, and we'll see you next Sunday for the Chelsea review. You take good care. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Cheers.
Good night.
Bye.